On Thursday, the Mariners offense faced off against one of the league's premier fastballs and lived and died by it. Welcome to the Dom Skiing Channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. The Mariners lost 9-3 in the final game of our home series against the Washington Nationals on Thursday night, moving to 30-25 on the season. Nationals moving to 26-30 on the season, making up some ground in a tough division in the NL East there. Nationals winning 9-3. It's funny, each game of this series was won with the winning team having 9 runs. We won 9-0 the first game. Nationals won 9-1 the second game, and then they won the final game 9-3. However, this one was scoreless until the 6th inning and was a really nice pitcher's duel between two former top prospects in Emerson, Hancock and MacKenzie, Gore. Now, their careers have gone different paths, especially in the last season or so, as Hancock has been injured, and in the minors, as Gore has finally taken off and started to deliver on the prospect pedigree he once had. But with him, he has such a prolific fastball that even the Mariners couldn't hit it. And the Mariners are one of the best fastball hitting teams in the MLB. As we all know, Dan Wilson and Edgar Martinez hitting approach that has completely revamped the Mariners, re-earned the control the zone tag, kind of moniker, having, that scrappy personality, while also hitting a lot more long balls, ending up in, the top 10 in long balls in the MLB as far as teams go. And that whole philosophy is built on the simple idea of get your pitch and don't miss, which really means you're looking for the best pitch to hit, which for most guys is going to be a fastball. Really, common sense logic there. However, so most teams, and our hypothesis recently has been, okay, well, if the Mariners are waiting for the fastball, throw them other stuff. And we've seen a lot of pitchers do that in the past few weeks. However, last night, Gore didn't need to. He was one of the few pitchers this season who's been able to have success with a fastball against the Mariners. He threw 95 pitches, generating 18 swinging strikes, with 12 of them alone on the four-seam fastball. He threw 59% four seams, so 12 swinging strikes on 56 four-seam fastballs. That is good for a 39% whiff rate, 12 whiffs on 31 swings. Average exit velocity was high on that one, so we did hit it a little bit. And the funny thing about this one, we did have a low expected batting average, but with it being so close, you think it was a game that we deserved to win, especially on the offensive side, coming back to tie it and then getting that third run. You just can't really account for getting dominated by a four-seam fastball for 6 innings like MacKenzie Gore did last night. He went 6 innings, only allowed 4 hits, no damage whatsoever, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. And again, the swinging strikes at 18, I think the only time I've seen something that gaudy this year against the Mariners was Max Fried, who's also a prolific top 10 pitcher in the game right now. So MacKenzie Gore has all the makings of a top 10 pitcher in the MLB right now. I'd understand if you want to put him more in the 10 to 20 range because he doesn't have that track record yet, but it's hard to put him any lower than that for me. I think he will, if not be an all-star, he'd be one of the closest misses. He'd be one of the first injury replacements. And then he generated some weak contact with his other pitches. The curveball didn't do him a ton of favors. Did get crushed a few times as well, but only got 2 swinging strikes on 26 of those. And then the cutter got 2 swinging strikes on just 5. Same with the changeup, 2 swinging strikes on just 5. So really didn't need to use those pitches. Really said, you know what, I'm going to come out and use four-seam curve against the Mariners. I don't know if this is because he watched a lot of tape on us, but these are really the 2 pitches that you see pitchers throw against the Mariners the most this season. So that's interesting to see. I know I've said now that we've faced about 3 pitchers in the past week that have been tailor-made matchups against Seattle, but I don't think it's a coincidence. McCullers, Valdez, and Gore those guys have all pitched extremely well against the Mariners and done exactly what I would have done. However, Gore, right, going fastball heavy, this just shows that his fastball is one of the best in the majors. Obviously, when we have Logan Gilbert back, we have our own, top percentile fastball in the MLB as well. But that's what it looks like. So I think MacKenzie Gore won this game for the Nationals. As I said, previewing this game on Wednesday's recap video, the series was going to come down to what can we do against MacKenzie Gore. And although we got the 3 runs off their relievers with no damage off MacKenzie Gore, we just didn't put ourselves in position. Jorge Lopez comes in and just records 2 outs. Well, we get 2 runs off of them. We get there's a strikeout and a walk for him. Then Cole Henry also pitches for them, strikeout and a walk, 0.2 innings pitched. Jose Ferrer gets 5 outs. Well, Kyle Finnegan comes in and gets not a save opportunity, but closes it out for them. And he's also one of the better closers in the MLB right now. Looking at our bullpen, I have heard a little bit of criticism about, Munoz should have stayed out there to pitch the 10th inning. But I did hear on the radio, Shannon Drayer has reported that Munoz feels much more comfortable in a locked-in 9th inning role where he knows he's going to come out in the 9th, night to night. And Dan Wilson has said that he is going with that approach basically because if it's not broken, don't fix it. It could be, that and also maybe just a little more, just setting Andres Munoz up to pitch the 9th inning every night allows him to have amazing success. Obviously, still has not allowed a run this year. And he's doing everything right. But I do not disagree with the decision to keep him in that 9th inning role if that's working so well for him. Then you have Snyder come out and the line looks bad. But if you actually look at what happened in this, you have the runner on second. So first of all, you were starting out with runners in scoring position. Scoring 1 run is not too hard. And then you have him give up that, he has a throwing error. So you have Keibert Ruiz reach on that. And you already had, this inning starts out this inning starts out, they get the sac fly almost immediately. Then C.J. Abrams doubles, then Nathaniel Lowe singles. Keibert Ruiz reaches on throwing error. And then you got, another double from Luis Garcia. Josh Bell homering. Really what happened here was just an inning from hell. If you watch this, you can see how a human kind of mistake like this happens. I actually wasn't able to watch this 9th inning, this 10th inning, just so I'm being completely honest. So looking at the stats, I'm sure if I were to go back and look at the tape, I'd be looking for the human mistake that Colin Snyder made, and you're not going to correct that on tape. You're not going to correct that from a baseball standpoint. It's more about, just get ready, to go the next time, so that Snyder can, just having another good inning in his back pocket, just kind of flush this one. This is why they say you got to have the memory of a goldfish. And I'm not trying to explain away the fact that we, got blown out in the 10th inning. Obviously, that's what you hate to see when you have a chance to win the series. You're playing for a series. But this, as much as I hate to say it, is normalization to the mean. Snyder has still, I guess his ERA is not good after this one because he gets 5 earned runs on 1 out. However, I still believe in him. I don't think this is a sign of bad things to come. Obviously, this Nationals lineup is hot. They put up 18 runs over the past 19 innings. So, there's that. And then looking at, our offense, it's really just these guys struggled against MacKenzie Gore. And then when they had to pour it on late, well, the Nationals exploded. So to match that would have been a little too much. And you do get the 1 run back in the bottom of the 10th, is what it is. And Ben Williamson has been doing a good job. Keeps going the other way. He gets 2 hits, and this one goes 2 for 4. He needs to keep the strikeouts down because 592 OPS, extremely low. Could be a place that you just, when you're looking at the offense on paper, you want to upgrade. It's third base, first base. The corner infield slots are really the 2 biggest openings in the lineup. Now, Ben Williamson is such an awesome player that does not show up in the statistics, the StatCast, going the other way, double-digit pitches on at bats, really a control the zone guy. So I have no qualms about him staying in the lineup as long as we don't have anybody better, and maybe even stays with us for the entire rest of the year. Comment question of the day today is: how many games do you think Ben Williamson will start as a Seattle Mariner total in the year of our Lord 2025? So if I'm going, looking at right now, he's played 37 games this year. How many games do you think that he is going to play in the 2025 season? Do you think that he will appear, I guess, out of 56 games now, he's appeared in 37. That's the highest possible outcome, minus 19. 143 if he plays every single game from here on out. Obviously won't do that. Maybe he plays 5 times a week. Being pretty optimistic, right? 5 out of 6 times a week, that would be, it's hard to do math obviously, but that's like 12 more days off, so like 130 games. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think he'll play around 130 games. That would only be 12 off days the rest of the year. Sounds a little low. I'm going to say that Ben Williamson ends at something more like 115 games. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Other than that, I expect this offense to get going again versus the Twins. You do miss Pablo Lopez in this series. Thankfully, you do have to face Bailey Ober, though. And looking at a little bit ahead to tonight's game, what's in front of us today. Zebby Matthews is a guy who I absolutely hate. He lost me my fantasy championship last year. I'm not sure if anybody else was in fantasy baseball playoffs and it ended up starting him. I was in a ESPN points league and he got something like negative 19, which completely lost me the championship and ruined my whole year after going 16-3. So I'm always going to hate Zebby Matthews for that. Completely anecdotal fantasy baseball reason. However, looking at his numbers, he is about as average as they come. He has nothing really super red on his StatCast page, nothing super blue on his StatCast page. Oh, actually, he's just not a qualifier on everything. Forget what I said. But yeah, he'll be right around the between 40 and 50 on pretty much every single pitcher's run value as well as pitching run value. His expected ERA is at 3.75, somewhat his actual ERA at 7.71. Guy is really underperforming right now, and the Mariners should be able to take advantage of that. He throws 53% four-seamers, 96.6. Throw a fastball, goes out even faster. It's also a hot day out here in Washington, so I got high hopes there. Or maybe he decides to prioritize the slider that he usually throws only 24% of the time. Maybe he decides to go with the 18% cutter, the 3% curve, the 1% changeup. If I were him, I mix that slider, cutter, curve, change. I mix all those 4 in there a little bit more, try to get that four seam maybe down to 30 to 40% usage. Just maybe don't lead off. Maybe you want to land that four seam a few times, first strike, but you might also want to throw, want to throw that cutter early in the count, as your first pitch to guys. I want to do a little bit more looking at different handedness and movement profiles and stuff. Obviously, you can check out somebody like Lance Brozdowski who can give you in-depth readings like that, but I want to do it from this Mariners perspective and covering who we're playing against, so that, when you're talking about the Mariners, you understand the why. I aim to give you the why so you can have your opinions, and I just provide you with the ammunition to back it up, then also, I want to analyze it from this perspective so that the people watching just these games every day see the progression every day. And even, when I couldn't watch the game like last night, I want to bring you guys the most analysis that I can. So let me know what you like down in the comments below. Let me know what else you want more of. And let me know anything new I could do, or if there's anything even that you want to see done differently. Anyway, how many games will Ben Williamson play for the Seattle Mariners in 2025? I am going to put your answer down below. I'm going to say 115. And with that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow to recap tonight's game. That's going to do it. Go Ams.